Small.
The microphone murderer, mass mayhem maker. DIC's on the mic, call the Undertaker. Make an appointment, schedule an interview. Because you know what big man's about to do. 50 grand on the technique at the right peak. Brothers wanna hear the words big man speak. The microphone I'm ripping. The burner got the clipping. Slamming them seeds.
Yo, I feel kind of guilty. You can turn it down.
Nice, baby.
I feel kind of guilty. Why? Because I had never heard the Biggie demo tape until recently. Mm-hmm. Like I just heard it. I wasn't a real big fan back in the day. Like I got a little bit late to the party. I mean, I was kind of on Ready to Die. I really didn't get into Life After Death. It wasn't until later on that years down the road, I kind of started to cycle back and look at the catalog. I didn't really understand how much of a genius this dude really was.
He was definitely a genius.
And the fact that, and when you think of it now, I look at it as someone that's 40 years old. I look at what he was spitting about, and he was only 19, 20. Like, when he did this demo that we were playing that I had to cut out to keep from getting an FCC fine, but wanted to show love, he spit that coming out of jail. So he was out of jail, and like he came back, or at least the story says that he came back to Brooklyn. He hooked up with Mr. C, and he just made a demo tape, and he just grabbed the mic and started spitting. He was with some of his friends. And I was like, this guy is only 20 years old when he wrote this stuff and was spitting this stuff, and it was so profound. Like, it's just, he was wise beyond his years. When you look at his bars and some of the things that he would say, his flow was so natural.
Right.
And I don't ever want to diss MCs. One thing I've learned about working with you, Rampage, is to respect the art. Now, you don't respect mumble rappers. So we don't respect mumble rappers.
Definitely.
On this
Not
show.
On this
They get no love, no respect.
Zero.
But I used to be that guy that was, well, rapper A is better than rapper B, and this album was better than this album. And working with you has kind of taught me that it's all art. Everybody puts their soul into it. They put their own experiences into it. And I respect artists in general, but I'm going to make a comparison to Big and another person who's considered to be way up there in the pantheon, which is Eminem.
Right. He's a genius.
I love Eminem. He's a genius. He's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things he says, I can't figure it out until like 4 or 5 bars later, and I was like, is that what he meant? It's difficult. I think the difference between Big and M, and I'm not dissing M, but what I'm saying is, you could tell that Eminem practices his lyrics. Like, it's very obvious that he practices his punchlines and his lyrics and how to wordsmith things together. Like, if you look at 8 Mile, he's on the bus and he's writing out all of these different options on 8 Mile. Big, man, he just seemed like he just got in the booth and said whatever he wanted to say. Like, it didn't seem like he practiced he wasn't like trying to figure it out. He just said whatever came to his mind.
So I'll tell you a story. We in the studio. And the man asked Biggie, did he want a yellow pad to write his verses down?
Mm-hmm.
Big was like, I don't need that. Yo, C's roll. This is a real story. Yo, Bus asked him, yo, you need a pad or something, anything, water, whatever? Big said, yo, I don't need no pad. Yo, play that beat. C's roll. Big.
It's nice with it.
Pacing back and forth. Track came on. I'm going to show you exactly. Then he went in the booth. He smoked a couple.
Right.
Went in the booth. He was like, you see how I'm moving? That's how he was moving in the booth.
Grooving.
Just right. And then all of a sudden he was like, something, straight through. 40 bars. Y'all figure it out. I'm out ramping, boss. Gone.
Yeah, the flow is so natural.
Ever since then, I never wrote a rap. I do my thing off the top like that. I didn't get it, but Jay-Z does it the same way too.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But then people don't understand that we all in the same sessions together. Watch it when Jadakiss said he was a fly on the wall at a big session. If you ever been in a big session, yo, Big would just tell him, pull them records up. Big C's roll. And then go in the booth and just do what he do. Mm-hmm. And then it is what it is.
Right.
It wasn't even a thought process.
Well, people talk about on the Unbelievable joint was one of my favorites. Biggie Smalls is the illest. That basically he was rapping. I mean, they was in between records for other songs, and it's just like, yo, C's, call up some girls and get some J work and some Pepsi and some Old Gold.
Yeah,
and he's in the booth taking care of his business, doing what he did to get ready.
Whatever you needed,
right,
to get you in the mode of what you needed to get to. And again, that's like a basketball player. Get him whatever he needs to be on the team. Why not?
Yeah, that's just.
But he did it off the top on reel-to-reels, not Pro Tools. He did them on reel-to-reels. So
explain that to the listeners.
So the difference between when we record now, we record on Pro Tools. So when I record on Pro Tools, I don't write nothing down. But if you look at the Pro Tools, the wave lines.
Right.
You're using Logic or Pro Tools.
Uh-huh.
Those are the wave lines like if I was writing it down. So what I would do is, the thing that I was about to tell you, I ain't going to tell you. I'm going to just lay it straight to Pro Tools. Big was actually laying it to tape. Reel-to-reel tape.
Right.
Where they had to edit a lot of this stuff, too. They didn't have Pro Tools when he did all them records off top of his head.
91, 92.
Nah, it was no Pro Tools.
Yeah.
He was doing that straight to tape.
Wow.
So basically, he'd be like, round and round, upside down.
Right.
All the normal ladies, I'm all like, punch. Or he would just do it straight, and they would just find a way where to punch at after 16. And then they would fly the other vocals, I guess, to the next joint, and the song was done.
Mm. Yeah, it's just an amazing talent, man.
It was his structure. His wordplay structure was bananas. Eminem is one of those artists. He know lyrically he can say certain things in a certain way. You won't catch it until either a couple years from now, or if you, did he really say that?
Right. Jay is like that too. So there are times where I've been listening to Jay.
Jay is a wordsmith.
There are times where I listen to Jay, and I listen to Jay heavy.
Right.
So, like I said, I was late to the big party, but I was early to the Jay party.
No, but
and there are times where I'm listening to something that Jay wrote, and I've heard it 150 times, and I'm like, oh, that's what he meant.
Well, again, I could say 7 different words in 7 different ways, and you be like, yo, did Ram just diss me?
Right.
Nah. Jay, the Jay strength, when Jay spit, he spit subliminally.
Yeah, he does.
So if he said, yo, I ain't make up a whole bunch of things in a whole bunch of lines. I ain't animated like say a Busta Rhymes, but the only thing you get when you bust down my lines, when you looking at my, like, he painting a picture to you, but you like, yo, did he really say that?
Yeah.
He's not animated, or he's like, it was a line. He was like, if I kill you, then I'm famous, and if you kill me, what a dude to do? Yeah. Like he's talking to you, but he's talking to you from a mind state of how he's feeling today. Or, yo, Timberland, turn that on. Brush the hate off my shoulder.
Right.
Brush the hate off my. But again, when we looking at it, we like, oh, okay, he didn't write nothing down. But then when everybody's playing it a million times, you must be used to me spending.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you like, yo, what's the thought process behind or Biggie? Boom, 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 boom.
When I heard the joint, the Queen Bee joint, because I didn't know. I mean, you could tell that he wrote a lot of Kim's early stuff, because you could tell it had his cadence to it. But I heard the old tape just a few weeks ago. I had never heard it before. So I talk about being a hip hop aficionado. I had never heard Big bust the Queen Bee joint. And what's so ill about Big busting it, right? You know, when it gets to, I'm gonna stay that chick, and you know how he's doing this, and he's grooving to the music, and he has the horns, but he's spitting the horns. He's like, and then he goes to the second verse. That's crazy.
But the process to that was, it wasn't Pro Tools.
Right.
It was straight to tape.
Right.
And those da-da-da-da-da-da, because he was thinking about...
Because he's thinking about
about what the hook should be.
I was like, this dude is a genius.
But it was like You know how an architect map out something?
Right.
It was a blueprint to something. Then when she got back in, he's like, I put that da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
These are the words for the da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Because he was in the car listening to the tape all day. So when Biggie was the type of person, when he hear the beat, he go back and forth, and it stays in his head.
Right.
So he already knew what was going where and at. And he knew the words, but they just didn't come out at the time. But the verses was there, but the da-da-da-da-da.
Right. I mean, he just said stuff that,
Right.
I mean, he said lyrically, I dust them off like Pledge.
Yeah.
Hit hard like sledgehammers. Like, who says that? Who thinks to say? He would take things that were like every day. I think that's the thing about Big. You know, when it got to Life After Death, you get into more mafioso, where it was a little bit different. And mafioso rap was really on. You had the Purple Tape. You know, Jay was coming out, so you really had more of a mafioso structure. But like on Ready to Die, you know, in those earlier writings, he's talking about T-bone steak and Welch's. Like people don't think about stuff like that. Just regular stuff.
I had breakfast with Big, and that's what he had. Welch's great, some egg and steaks.
Yeah, it's just
R.I.P. B.I.G.
R.I.P. B.I.G. man. R.I.P. B.I.G. man.
Greatness.
Just
all I can
greatness.
say is greatness and genius.
If you have a demo that came out in 1991, it's 2019, and like I heard that joint, I couldn't stop listening to it. I listened to it like 20 times in a row. Like I just kept bumping it over and over again. It was so hot. This is almost 20 years ago. Like just a genius.
You know what album I listened to?
What's that?
A lot. Nas is Illmatic.
Illmatic, man. Illmatic is so deep, though.
And again, I can name you 5
That's another
albums
genius.
that was just like that. You can play it all day, every day. NWA, 100 Miles and Running.
That was a great album.
Right? Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders.
Midnight Marauders and Low in Theory.
Low in Theory.
Amazing
Those 2 albums
albums
back to back.
Definitely.
We'll Busta Rhymes, The Coming.
We're gonna talk about a little bit of Busta Rhymes, especially because I always wonder how he raps so fast. We're gonna talk about that when we come back. We'll be back with hour 2 of the Lance J Radio Network. Me and my man Rampage.
Yeah.
Coming to you live, NBC Sports Radio Phoenix.
Fix your
At the
face.
KDUS NBC Sports Studios in Phoenix, Arizona.